The little girl. Before you read, you should know this. Do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Perhaps you now understand the reasons for some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. This story about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding will probably find an echo in every home. So actually here the author want to say that when parents will say something to the children, then children will feel bad. So actually when they grow, when the child will grow from younger to little, he will become little older, then he will realize and understand why the scoldings were there, why the advice was made. Okay, so instead of feeling bad, they will try to understand, and this is what is seen in almost every home. So it is said like it can be echoed in every home. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. So this is when she was young. Okay, so she used to fear her dad. So to the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. So his father will come to her and a casual kiss the father will give to the daughter, and then the daughter will say goodbye father, and father will take his vehicle and go. So she will feel some relief. Okay, so this is what is the first scene. In the second para, in the evening when he came home, he stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. So when he will come back in the evening, he will say with a loud voice in the hall, "Bring my tea into the drawing room." So he is asking for tea. Hasn't the paper come yet? He is asking for newspaper. Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my slippers. Kezia, mother would call to her, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boot." Okay, so mother will call Kezia, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off the father's boot." So to help the father as he is coming from work. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs more slowly still across the hall and push open the drawing room door. By that time he had his spectacles on, the looked at her over them in a way that terrifying to the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today?" "I don't know, father." So father will ask Kezia to pull off the shoes so that it can be taken out. So, "Have you been a good girl today?" "I don't know, father." So he will say, "I don't know, father." "You don't know? If you shudder like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor." So if like she is smattering, what the word is? So she is stammering. So don't know. So she is saying if you will shudder. So it is stammering. So if you will shudder like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. So the father is saying, if you shudder like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. So don't stammer, otherwise mother will have to take you to the doctor for treatment. She never shuddered with other people, but it was not stammering actually, because she never shuddered in front of others. She will do in front of her father only out of fear. Had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly, because she is trying so hard to speak up properly that she stammer or stutter. "What is the matter? What are you looking so? What are you looking so wretched about?" "Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here Kezia carry a teacup back to the table carefully. So now this thing is another scene. So what's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Why are you looking so wretched about means tensed. Why are you looking so tensed? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here Kezia carry up the teacup. She will bring the teacup carefully. He was so big, his hand and his neck, especially his mouth, when he yawned, thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. So the girl will always, like usually she will see that father will sleep on the sofa, okay, with his face covered with his handkerchief, okay, and mother will read something as seen in the photograph. He is sleeping with face covered and on the cushion he will keep his legs and mother will read something. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched, and asked the time, then looked at her. So she will watch him that he was sleeping there, and when he will wake up, he will ask for what's the time. So don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. So he will say, don't stare like this, Kezia. You look like little brown owl. One day, when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. So on the birthday, they were planning to give the father some gift, and that gift they wanted to make him a pink cushion. Wanted to make a pink cushion to gift him. Laboriously with a double carton, the little girl stitched 3 sides. So little girl stitched 3 sides of the cushion. But what to fill it with? So something is required to be filled in, especially usually the cotton will be filled. That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. So for scraps, clothes can also be filled. So on the bed table, she discovered that great many sheets of fine paper. So fine paper sheets were there. She gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case. Then sewed up the 4th side. So they filled with fine small papers and they tore the paper into pieces and filled up the cushion. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. So father was angry because his speech was lost, which he has prepared for the port authority. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I supposed you didn't see some papers on a table in our room. So the father was looking for the paper. It was important for him. So Kezia, he is asking Kezia, and mother is asking. So mother went to Kezia's room and she asked Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on the table in our room. Oh yes, she said, I tore them up for my surprise. So actually it was that paper that Kezia tore and cut into pieces and filled in the cushion. What? Screamed mother. After listening to this, mother screamed, come straight down to the dining room this instant. Means immediately she was called in the dining room. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. So father was worried, he was moving to and fro and hand was behind his back. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? His father asked. Did you do that? No, she whispered. She was in fear. She said no. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damned thing. She see that the child's put to bed this instant. Okay, and he also said that child should go to bed. Crying too much to explain, she lay in the shadowed room, watching the evening light, making a sad little pattern on the floor. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hand. I am going to beat you for this, he said. No, father was angry, so he is saying, I am going to beat you up for this. Oh, no, no, she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. He pulled them aside. Sit up, he ordered, and hold out your hand. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. Because father wanted to tell her that you should not touch what doesn't belong to you, because it can be important for others. And in this case it was the paper which was important for the father, which he has broken or tore down into small pieces to fill in the question. Down came the ruler on her little pink palm. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in a rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed. Here is a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You will forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. Father was upset, he was not ready to listen that day. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back, and a red color flew into her cheeks, because she was scared. The McDonalds lived next door. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father with the baby, Mao, on his shoulder, 2 little girls hanging onto his coat pockets, ran round and flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once he saw the boys turned the hose on him, and he tried to catch them laughing at all time. Then it was she decided there were different sort of fathers. Suddenly one day mother became ill and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice, the cook. That was all right in the daytime. So this is all the scene. These all are the things that were happening. So she got the feeling that the fathers are also different. When different fathers are different, children of different fathers are also different. They play and they go to McDonald's. She was seeing from the window. So it is said, then it was she decided there were different sorts of fathers. That was all right in the daytime. But while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. What will I do if I have a nightmare? She asked. No, she was scared, so she thought if she will sleep, she can get a nightmare. She asked, I often have nightmares, and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. She was scared of dark. You just go to sleep, child, said Alice, pulling off her socks. And don't you scream and wake your poor pa. Don't shout or make noise. The father will get up. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma. She woke shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. What's the matter? He said. So, what happened actually? But the same nightmare, but the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope appeared in the nightmare. So nightmare is bad dreams. Okay. So who came nearer and nearer, smiling and that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, "Grandma, grandma." She could not move, but only she can cry, "Grandma, grandma." She is calling for help. She woke shivering to see father beside her bed. When she wake up, she saw father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. She was holding a candle in his hand. "What's the matter?" he said. He asked, "What is the matter?" "Oh, a butcher knife. I want granny." So butcher knife. She was scared, so she was calling grandmother. He blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. So he will hold her daughter and he will take her to the big bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tugged up the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep, still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. She kept close to him, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Then she was not scared of the dark because she was with her father. "Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm," said father. Tried out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. MacDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. "What's the matter?" asked her father. "Another dream." So father is asking. She saw that his father has torn up all the writings, so which were not required for him. He himself tore it out. So what's the matter? Father is asking. So the girl said, "Another dream." No, father is asking, "What's the matter? Is there another nightmare or another dream?" "Oh," said the little girl, "my head's on your heart. I can hear it going." "What a big hurt you have got, dear father." Then it was she decided there were different sorts of father. No, not this one. Number 10. "What will I do if I have a nightmare?" she asked. "I often have nightmares." No, this was also read earlier. 12. Number 12. Tried out. He slept before the little girl. Tried out. He slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. The hardness was there, but it was nice hardness. So it doesn't mean that hardness, it means that the father was giving her some comfort. He was trying to console her and want her to sleep nicely. So it is said that it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald's. So he had to work every day, so he cannot go to McDonald's. She had torn up all his beautiful writing, and now she had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. So the girl has torn up his writing, his important papers. So she was thinking about that she has like cut into pieces and torn all the writing of his father. So she was thinking on that. So she sighed. So father, after seeing this, asked, "What's the matter?" asked the father. "Is there another dream?" "Oh," said the little girl, "my head's on your heart." My head is on your heart. I can hear it going. The means the heartbeat is, she is listening. "What a big heart you have got. You have got a very big heart, dear father. Father dear." So she said, "What a big heart you have got, father dear." So written by Catherine Mansfield.